going to learn about is what bullying is, because sometimes people think that just because I walk by and I bump into you and I don't say anything, sometimes people think, oh, I'm being bullied. But that's not really the case, because if I just bump into you and I don't say anything, I'm just really being rude, right? Because what should you say if you accidentally bump into somebody or step on somebody's foot? What should you say? Sorry, excuse me, pardon me, right? That's the right thing to do. And that way the other person knows that it was a mistake, that you didn't mean to do that, and everybody feels good. So bullying is when it's repeated. So if somebody is every day coming up to you and purposely knocking your books off or bumping into you because they're trying to be mean to you, then that's a bully thing, because it happens over and over. And it can be one person or it can be a group of kids. So it is negative, mean behavior. Malicious is a big word for mean, so it's purposefully being mean to somebody. And it's repeated over time, so it's happening often. It's happening more than one time. And there's an imbalance in the relationship. So the bully has the power and the victim does not. So the strength and power is not equal. There's an imbalance. So types of bullying. There's direct bullying, which is really easy to see and hear. Because it's stuff like hitting and punching and kicking. You see it happening. Or it's the verbal calling, names, teasing, things, put downs that make people feel bad. So these are easy to see happening. People can hear it and they can see it. But there's also the kind of more sneaky bullying. It's called indirect bullying. And that's the rumors spreading, the lies, that I'm not going to be, you can't hang around with us, you're not our friend anymore, where you're purposefully making somebody feel bad, spreading rumors about someone. That is bullying also. And then the cyber, when we're looking at the internet, everybody has Chromebooks. And sometimes through the messages, the chats, the postings on the computer, a lot of bullying can happen. And it's very hurtful. Words are very powerful. I don't know about you, but I would much rather someone punch me in the arm than say something hurtful to my heart, something mean to me. Because the punch in the arm only hurts for a little bit. But the words keep going over and over and over in my head. And it's hard to get rid of the negative. For every negative thing that somebody says about someone, it takes 5 positive things to erase it. The power of words. So think before you tease. These are line crossers. We should never tease about who somebody stands for, what they believe in. We should never tease about that, because that's part of our character, of who we are. Never tease about appearance, what somebody looks like, because that's hurtful. That makes us feel bad. Ability. So, for example, out in PE, if somebody's new to playing a game and they can't shoot the basket very well, well, if somebody teases that person, they're probably going to not want to play anymore, because they're going to feel bad, when in reality, what do they really need to do to get better? Practice. Right. That's how we get better. So it's better to encourage people and say something like, it's okay, you'll get it next time, keep trying. That's called sportsmanship. But sometimes that doesn't happen out there. People say things that aren't very nice and make people feel bad. Social status, where you, like if you're hanging around with the popular group or if you're perceived to not have any money and people start teasing about that, that can be hurtful as well. Because sometimes, we have what we have. And so if we're coming to school and somebody's saying, oh, you know, your car is so ugly, and that's going to make us feel bad because we don't have control over that. Those aren't things we have control over. If somebody is talking about, you know, oh, you don't have any friends. Well, you know what? There's people that don't like to hang around with a lot of friends, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We should never make somebody feel bad because they just have a little bit of friends, because that's probably what that person likes, is having a few friends. And then, we also never want to tease about making people feel bad about using words that maybe aren't okay. Like, for example, sometimes people will use the word gay in a negative. And they'll say, oh, you're gay. And they'll imply that person, that's not okay. And that can be hurtful, because a lot of times in middle school, people start questioning their own sexuality, or they start questioning, or they start thinking about their own family members. And so it can be hurtful, maybe not directly to that person that it's said to, but it can also be hurtful to other people as well, especially if they have a family member. Okay, so, can you get her so we can get back up? Okay. So, the roles of bullying. Everybody plays a role in a bully situation. And I want you to think about what role you play. There's the bully. That's the person that's being mean. There's the victim, which is the person that's being targeted. And the victim is the person that's feeling bad. And then there's the bystander. And bad things have happened in this world because good people chose to do nothing. Bad things will continue to happen in this world when good people choose to do nothing. There's a show that's on television, and I'm trying to think of the name of it, now it won't come to me, but it is the, I think it's called What Would You Do? And it talks about, they put these scenarios where somebody's being treated poorly just to see if other people do anything about it. And a lot of people don't get involved. They think it's not my business, and they don't get involved. But a few people will choose to be a rescuer. And a rescuer is the role that I hope that you will consider trying on. Because when we rescue people, we help people. And when we help people, it feels good in our own heart to know that we make a difference in somebody's life. And it truly makes a difference in our own life when we do that. So a lot of people will fall into this bystander rule, okay? And you do it a couple of different ways. The bystander who, let's say somebody comes into the classroom and I put you down. I say something about, oh, I don't know, what's a put down? What would somebody say?
Your shoes are ugly.
Oh, you got, those shoes are so old school. Why are you wearing those shoes today? And let's say half the class laughs. How am I feeling?
Like sad. Like
No, the one that has said, I'm putting him down and you guys are laughing. How am I feeling?
Impressive.
I'm feeling empowered, right? I'm feeling like a comedian. Everybody thinks I'm funny. Am I going to probably keep putting him down?
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's say you guys, as a class, you don't laugh. How might I feel?
Bad.
I might feel a little embarrassed, like, oh, why did I even say that? They don't think I'm funny. And then, let's say you stand up and you say, you know, that's not even funny. Why don't you just sit down? Then you really nailed it in. And that's being a rescuer, because you chose to tell me that my actions are not okay. Now, sometimes we don't want to do that if we're going to put ourselves in jeopardy, right? You want to do that if you feel comfortable that you can say something and not end up being a victim yourself, okay? So if it's people you know and you know you can hang around with them and you know that you can tell them that that's not okay without putting yourself in jeopardy, then that's the right thing to do. So there are no innocent bystanders. When you guys intervene, that means when you guys choose to not laugh at the put-downs and you choose to stand up and help the people to recognize that that's not okay, bullying stops within 10 seconds, 57% of the time. You guys have more power based on what you will accept or reject for behavior than any bully program out there. Because kids will listen to kids. Sometimes when people don't speak up and people don't help, sometimes bad things have happened. And I'm going to share some stories, real stories with you about some people who are no longer alive. They lost their life due to a bully situation. And all of these stories are a little bit different, but they all have to do with bullying. Okay, so this young lady, her name was Rachel Scott. In 1999, she was attending Columbine High School in Littleton, Colorado. Rachel was a student who was a very kind and helpful student, and I know that because I'm going to share some of her words that she wrote in a piece of writing prior to her death. On April 20th, 1999, there were a couple of boys that came to school with weapons, and they shot and they killed 13 people, and they ended up taking their own life as well. These boys must have felt very alone, frustrated, angry, to take the situation in their own hands. They were known as kind of like loners. They didn't have a lot of friends, people would make fun of them, they would call them weird, and this went on and on and on. And finally these boys had had enough, and they took matters in their own hands, and unfortunately, people lost their life that day. And it was a very big tragedy that happened. If you Google information on Columbine High School, it was really when a lot of the schools really looked at reaching out to our bullies, reaching out to our victims, and putting things in place to help schools to be safer. It really kind of rocked the world. It shook everything up. Rachel's dad and brother go around today. I saw them speak at the end of last year at a conference. They go around, they speak to kids, and they share Rachel's words in hopes that kids will recognize that we have to do something to help our bullies. We have to do something to help our victims. We have to do something to allow ourselves to become rescuers. These are words that Rachel wrote in an essay prior to her death. She said, "Compassion is the greatest form of love humans have to offer. Compassion is forgiving, loving, helping, leading, showing mercy for others." I have this theory that if one person can go out of their way to show compassion, and compassion is caring, it's that you care, then it will start a chain reaction of the same. In other words, if I treat you nicely and I care about you, you're more likely to treat her nicely and care about her, and you're more likely to treat him nicely and care about him, and it grows and it grows and it grows into this beautiful thing. That is what Rachel believed. That's what Rachel wrote. Was Rachel a bully?
No.
No. But she lost her life that day.
Why?
because the boys came and
Shot her.
shot several people that day. This next situation is Daniel Osborne. Daniel had a learning disability, and he had a speech impediment, so he sounded different. He was a little slower in his learning. Kids would make fun of him. They would put him down, they would beat up on him, they would call him stupid. This went on for many, 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 many years. Finally, one day at the park, one of the groups of boys that had been mean to him for a while started beating up on him at the park, and one of the guys had a knife, and he ended up getting stabbed, and he ended up bleeding to death and dying. So our victims, our bullies can take things too far. We need to help our bullies, we need to help our victims, we need to help both, so that tragedies will not continue. This young lady, did you say Ireland? How did you know her?
You did this in Miss Love.
Oh, so you saw this. You remember that she was from Ireland, yes. Phoebe Prince moved to the U.S. in 2009 with her mom and her sister. She lived in Ireland. She was born in Ireland, lived in Ireland. And her mom wanted to bring her daughters to the U.S., brought her here, and very pretty. They lived in the East Coast, kind of East Coast area, Boston area, Massachusetts area. And Phoebe was so very pretty, a lot of boys liked her, and the girls got really, really jealous. And they started spreading rumors. Remember I talked about spreading rumors and lies? Hurtful things about her, calling her some really mean things. And they would do it verbally as she'd walk by. They would do it on the computer. They'd post things and very mean things. Phoebe must have, and I have no idea, but she must have felt so alone and so sad and so helpless the day that she took her own life. She hanged herself.
What? But how?
Had somebody reached out to help, maybe to be a friend,
No.
to show compassion, to tell an adult that these things were going on, that these mean girls were saying some mean things, maybe she would have felt better and more accepted and not done this. But she is no longer here. And so we have to recognize that our victims, we don't know when enough is too much. My level of tolerance might be different from your level of tolerance. What bothers you might not bother me. What doesn't bother you might really bother me. We don't know what somebody's background is. We don't know what people have been through. We don't know when something is going to push somebody over their limit. We have to be careful. We have to embrace. We have to be there. So it's okay to be reactive. And these are some things that you could do. If somebody is bullying you or somebody you know, these are some things you can try. They don't always work, but they're just things that you can try to see if they work for you. Sometimes just ignoring the person helps because you're not giving up your power. The bully's trying to take your power. They want to see that reaction from you. They want to know that they're making you feel bad. So if you ignore it, sometimes they're not getting that. They're not getting what they need from you, so they're going to probably move on to someone else, which doesn't help. We certainly would want to help that bully to recognize that their behaviors are hurtful. We can be assertive. If you walk with your head held high, people are less likely to mess with you, opposed to walking kind of scared and shy and meek. So just looking assertive, looking like you have confidence, even if you don't always have confidence. If you look like you do, they're less likely to mess with you. You can say stop. You know what? That's not even funny. Stop. I'm not going to listen to this. iMessages. When you say that mean thing to me, I feel really sad because did you know that this happened in my life? Using your feelings, letting them know that their feelings are hurtful. I mean, their words are hurtful. Making their comment into a joke. Okay, I have some pretty wild hair today. So let's say I walk in here and Miss Alexandrian doesn't like me very much and she says something like, wow, that your hair really looks like you're having a bad hair day today or something. You know, so she would never do that to me. But let's say she did. I could let that bother me and go off to the corner and start crying, or I could say, you know what, I did it just for you. I'm glad you like it. Make it into a joke. You know, kind of make it lighthearted so that that person knows that what they said didn't affect you, right? Remove yourself from the situation. Surround yourself around people who make you feel good. Positive people. Get away from the negative. Find safety in numbers. You are less likely to be picked on if you are in a group. If you're by yourself, you're more likely to be picked on. But if you're in a group, there's safety in numbers. And then always tell an adult. If none of these things are working, sometimes adults need to get involved so that we can help. So, hopefully we can do proactive ways of stopping bullying. If everybody is setting a good example and everybody is performing good deeds and everybody is being a positive leader and demonstrating good character and being a rescuer, all of these things can help that bullying to go away because we're all doing what we need to be doing. On December 4th, we are having our grand opening of our RAC boutique, and it's going to be in room 210. The RAC stands for Random Acts of Kindness. We are going to have gently loved clothing for boys and girls, accessories, shoes, jewelry, all kinds of fun things that you're going to be able to come on Fridays after school starting December 4th, and you're going to be able to shop. And for every item that you choose, you have to promise an act of kindness. That's how you pay. We don't take money. We take acts of kindness. So you will get a receipt, and on that you're going to write down what kind thing you did over the weekend, and you're going to bring it back. So maybe it is you go help your neighbor with their yard work. Maybe you wash the dishes for your mom without being asked. Maybe you help with the laundry. Maybe you're at the grocery store and you let somebody go ahead of you. I do that a lot, especially if they only have a few items. That's a practice, and you know what, it comes back to you, because when I'm in a hurry, somebody will let me go in front. Acts of kindness. I hope that you will come check out the RAC, because that's a way that we can help grow these good deeds for each other. The impact is that students feel safer, a school is safer, community, and then impacting the world. We have installed some safety boxes, and I want to let you know where these are, because these are ways that you can communicate with the school about any situation that you feel is unsafe, or if a bully situation is going on. Now you can always email your counselors. That's a great way to get a hold of us quickly. But you can also put a note in these safety boxes, and they're located in 2 places here on campus. One of them is right by the ASB area when you walk in that door to come into the office. This is where you would go and buy clothes, or you turn in your money for fundraisers. There's a little box here, and then also in the library. When you come in the library doors, right on the end next to where the erasers are, there's a box there. These boxes are metal, and they are attached to the counter. They don't move. They're screwed and glued onto that counter. They are also locked, and I'm the only one with a key. And there's a little tiny space at the top where you can fit a note. And if you put a note in there, please give us enough information to do something. Don't just say, I'm being bullied, because I'm not going to know who you are, right? I'm not going to know anything. You need to give, tell what's going on, what the situation is, so that we can try to help. So these are, and it could be any situation. Maybe you have an idea of school improvement. Maybe you have something that you just want to communicate with your counselor, but you don't feel comfortable emailing or going up to the office. This is a way that you can just, when you're in the library, you can put a little note in there. I'm a little boy with glasses, the one they call a geek. A little girl who never smiles, 'cause I've got braces on my teeth. And I know how it feels to cry myself to sleep. I'm that kid on every playground who's always chosen last. I'm the one who's slower than the others in my class. You don't have to be my friend, but is it too much to ask? Don't laugh at me, don't call me names, don't get your pleasure from my pain. In God's eyes, we're all the same. Someday we'll all have perfect wings. Don't laugh at me. I'm the beggar on the corner. You've passed me on the street. I wouldn't be out here begging if I had enough to eat. Don't think I don't notice that our eyes never meet. I was born a little different. I do my dreaming from this chair. I pretend it doesn't hurt me when people point and stare. There's a simple way to show me just how much you care. Don't laugh at me, don't call me names, don't get your pleasure from my pain. In God's eyes, we're all the same. Someday we'll all have perfect wings. Don't laugh at me. I'm fat, I'm thin, I'm short, I'm tall, I'm deaf, I'm blind. Hey, aren't we all? Don't laugh at me. My wish for you is that you will take on the role of a rescuer. And I promise you, it will make a difference in the lives of others and ultimately make a difference in your life too. Thank you for being such an awesome audience, and have a great day. Woo! You guys want to sing this with me? No. Let's just do that. We can do the chorus right here. Don't laugh at me, don't call me names, don't get your pleasure from my pain. In God's eyes, we're all the same. Someday we'll all have perfect wings. Don't laugh at me. Nice singing on your end too. Hi, do you have a question?